week sucks.
Yeah.
Like the bottom of my screen, and it says I have a more button. It says go live.
Mine says participants chat record off
which
this
we are
recording.
live according to Facebook.
All right. Awesome.
So
yes. Okay, I
we're
see that now.
we're gonna try this, and if this doesn't work, we're gonna switch it over to Mike and try one more time. But I don't know what is going on. My obviously it is Friday. We were just talking about how this week sucked. And Zoom, Facebook, my internet connection, whatever it is, has heard me speak that to the universe and is now making it difficult for us to go live.
Yeah.
So what were you saying, Mike? Peggy, you still have to tell us about the birthday card parade, though.
I don't remember now. Something about this week. I forget now. I forget what I was saying.
All right. Well, everyone else out there, how has your week been? We've had a couple on the old screen. It kind of sucked. It's been crappy, and that's okay. It's okay to say. I'm just fine with that. It's just been an interesting week. I know everybody is super itching to get out of the house. Like, I get it. Trust me. I get it. Something happened at the church with the internet today, and like all the stuff that I've been monitoring remotely from my house went offline. So JR was up there and he needed help, and so we loaded up in the car and went up there. So anyway, we were up there, and Keegan is just in the lobby of the church. We've been there for like 10 minutes, and I was like, this is it. She's getting out of the house. This is going to be good. And she just falls on the ground and is just like, I hate that. Like, it was breakdown week. It was just breakdown. It was just, we've been going at this for so long. We are here in the house. We are not leaving. We are doing our job, and there's no end in sight.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I've been keeping an eye. I think most people know that I'm from Michigan. I've kind of been keeping an eye on what's going on up there. And I saw a lot of my friends from up in Michigan and from across the country start sharing about the protests that are going on. And then I started looking into that more and seeing that they're happening like across the nation, which is really,
I haven't seen any here in Houston, but I did see
there was one in Austin, I think.
Okay.
Yeah. But it's just a lot, and it's a lot for people to deal with. And I've been seeing a lot of stuff for people who are in like, house or homes where it's not necessarily safe for them to stay, from like domestic abuse, if they're potentially have any like suicidal issues or any like mental illness, things like that. And it's, at first it's sort of like, I didn't necessarily think of that because that's not something that I have to deal with on a day-to-day basis, but how difficult it needs to be for those people, or like the people who aren't welcome in their home for, because they are LGBT, or, all that other stuff, that
domestic violence, all of it.
Oh yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah. I also, okay. So I'll say 6 weeks, cabin fever sets in. Is that what it is? Like, I don't know. So if you had a great week or a terrible week, shout out, let us know. We invite everyone that we accidentally kicked off to come back on. If you are here, let us know, because to tell you the truth, technology is not my friend today, and I am having a hard time seeing if you're here. But okay, so I think I got kicked off, and I said for me there was a bright hope. I've seriously been watching like all these fun food trucks go all these places like subdivisions and set up. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I just need something to take my kids to because, well, they're tired of me cooking for them. And so I've been like, we want this, we don't, and anyway, finally the Hertz truck, that's the donut store. It's the fancy fun. They have like a Cookie Monster donut. They're coming out to the subdivision on Monday. So I am super excited to go grab donuts. I hope they don't sell out, but I'm super excited to go grab some donuts and drive around my neighborhood and eat them. I don't know, have a picnic outside. Who knows, whatever that'll look like. We need a change of scenery, like desperately. I've been considering, because Galveston, so we're like an hour and a half from Galveston, and they reopened their beaches this week. And so I've been seriously considering, like, can we get out there and function without like restrooms and food and all of that stuff and have a little time on the beach and get back? Is that possible? Because I know Sarah, Hertz Donuts, they're coming. Sarah lives here in the neighborhood. I can tell you her life story live on Facebook, but we love her. She also loves puzzles. And Hertz Donuts is coming, and that should not make me as happy as it does. And this is my Death Star cup, in case you missed it in the other video. Mike, what are you drinking tonight?
I am drinking a margarita out of a St. Arnold's beer or pub crawl cup.
I feel like each week we've done a shout out. If you have supported a local business that you love this week, shout it out.
So I saw something earlier today. It's not a local business. Well, one of them is, but it's a video that I shared on my private timeline about New Balance, and I forget what other mattress company. They're essentially using the materials that they have and the machines that they have to make masks.
Oh, that's
cool. They're doing it so that they can donate them. They're not planning on making any money off of them. And they're basically still able to keep their employees employed. Some of their employees have brought in their own personal sewing machines and stuff. Like, those really curly shoelaces that are elasticy?
Oh, yeah. Oh, those would be great around
the ears. Because like they're really flexible. And so I saw the video and I was like, that's really cool that like I guess the CEO or the owner of New Balance was just like, well, we need to start working with these people to figure out how we can do a mask design with the stuff that we have to keep our employees still working, not have to spend money on new supplies, and so that we're not going to lose money and they're just able to donate it. So they're not even charging. And he says, we could make money on it, but that's not the point right now. And I was like, that's really cool. And so I'm just kind of curious about some of the other companies that are also working on or doing stuff like that as well.
So I love that. I love that. That is so good. I know Southwest Airlines released something to their customers today that was super awesome. I didn't read it, but I heard about awesomeness. I love the philanthropy that's going on, the general connectedness we have.
Mm-hmm.
I will say it does remind me a little bit of time after Harvey. And again, I'm not saying that this is like Harvey, because obviously it is not, but there is this sense of community that has happened that is much like what happened when we talk about sense of community. There was something special that happened then, as I see barriers that kind of got let down and groups of people working together that might not usually work together and coming together. And so I feel a little bit of this sense. And I think that's what made this week so difficult for me. I had commented to JR that I found like Facebook this week very polarizing. I found the news more polarizing. This is the week that more people got vocal about why they thought this was happening. And I think that made it more difficult, like that kind of sense of community that I had, of everybody helping out and being part of one another's lives and genuinely wanting to support each other, started to chip away. So anyway, hey, Brandy. Sarah said she supports That's My Dog. And I do love Kevin and Ryan over there. They are super supportive of the church. We love going over there. So if you haven't been over there yet, definitely head out over there. And Sean had said that JR has to fix everything. And I just want to make sure that gets said in this video and then post it to Facebook because he needs to pull his rate. And for the record, I ended up fixing all the stuff today. So I'm just saying, I did it by myself. And YouTube. And YouTube. By myself and YouTube. The thermostats. 9 of them. Wow. Okay, anyway, so I just lost all my comments. So if you're out there talking, I can't see you now. I'll let Mike check in.
I was thinking about right after Harvey as well, when we were at the church, and how we did have that feeling like we were all coming together. We were making the buckets, the cleaning buckets at the church. And I keep thinking, like, what is something that we can do right now that we could do that would help that, but still, you know, within the requirements of social distancing, making sure that we're staying safe, making sure that we're not exposing ourselves by going out to the public. And so if anybody has ideas, and that's something that just kind of has been on my mind for the past few weeks, like how something similar to making those cleaning buckets. And maybe that's something that we'll do sort of after all of this is over, like sort of like recovery some way to help people recover a little bit. I don't even know how it would work, but.
Well, I had thought about, and so much of it for me is wanting to make sure that I and we as a community of people are taking social distancing very seriously. So like, I know we had kind of talked, a few of us at the church, about taking eggs so people could make their own Easter egg hunts at their church for our families, or families that they just told us to drop bags by their house or something like that, candy, eggs, whatever, hunt. But I was like, what if those people get sick and they are just like, what happened? The only thing I got that week was the bag of eggs from the church. Or we had takeout churches for a while at the front door of the church. And, you know, it was just the same thing. I thought, I don't know how this virus moves through all of us. And there has been so much said about it. And so it's just one of those things where I was like, well, do I, don't I, what do we do? I don't know. And trying to decipher what's best. I wish it was clearer. And that could be part of my frustration too. Ooh, Willy Burger. Oh, Peggy went to Willy Burger. That sounds so good. Sorry, I'm just like a squirrel over here. Anyway, I think that's what makes it hard for me. So Peggy is actually reading stories to her koala friend. She's a preschool teacher, and probably lots of other people that people have added. And those are the kinds of things that I think are mimicking what happened, Harvey. As we come together to support one another, you know, now is a time of emotional support. Maybe even like grocery deliveries, checking in on people who can't get out, those kinds of things. So I don't know. I'm with you. We have some stuff at the church this week that I thought we launched to allow people to, one, get out of the house, practice social distancing, and do something that they might possibly enjoy. So like mowing the lawn. You never know. Anyway, hey, Stuart. Well, we do always ask all sorts of fun questions. You all seem to like the fun questions way more than the serious questions. It gives me a chuckle, so I appreciate it. We still really love to hear about whatever your challenges are right now, whatever is happening in this week. We would love to hear about that. Anything that you would like to reflect on. That's kind of the point of this, is to commiserate, to debrief on the week, to unpack the week, however you want to call it, whatever you want to talk about.
So,
go ahead. No, go.
So I was actually just kind of thinking what we were saying earlier about last week being Holy Week and Easter and all the preparations for that. Like normally, like the week after that, and I know that this kind of goes for both of us. It's sort of like there's just this sense of relief because then we can just go back to things like they normally were, back to our normal schedule, not have to do all the extra prep work for it. But now it's like we went from doing so much and having to plan even more than a normal year to just almost nothing. And I think that's been kind of difficult for me, because it was like, great, Holy Week, 3 services, nothing, just like normal, Sunday service. And it kind of took me a little bit to get back into the swing of my Corona schedule. Sort of like how I'm trying to fill my time. But yeah, that's kind of difficult. And it's sort of like, I was thinking earlier today, and I was like, it's sort of like, okay, Jesus was here, Jesus was crucified, he rose again, it was super exciting.
Go forth and stay in your house.
Yeah, go forth and stay in your house. And like, I don't know, like I'm kind of drawing a parallel, like we said, or I think like you said last week, where it's kind of very much like how the disciples probably felt right after Jesus was crucified. Like, we're all by ourselves, we're all like in darkness, we're all in our own places. And then Jesus was back, and now it's sort of like we're back in our own places, but we're still expected to go forth, as you said. And it's, I don't know.
I'm just saying, don't miss worship this Sunday.
It'll be good.
We're going to talk about this stuff.
We have some really good music this Sunday.
I am actually really excited. Like, this is my church geek coming out, but like when I write a sermon and I feel like the music gets at what's at the heart of the sermon, and it all feels good. Those are typically the services that people don't enjoy the most. But they're the services where I'm like, yeah, this is it. Everything makes sense and everything is going together and it just feels good. I totally had that feeling today. I almost messaged you actually and was like, I'm so excited about worship this week. And I am so excited about worship this week. I was also up at the church today tinkering with the communion table, because right now our worship space has gone from this large sanctuary to what you can see on a screen. And so I love worship architecture. I don't know, that's what I'm going to call it. Creating a space that allows you to experience and feel things. And so I would try to be very creative with the table to engage you. And so I had a couple high points this week, but Peggy said, knowing that there's not going to be any more school is heartbreaking because you can't say goodbye to the kids. So that's definitely been a big deal. Officially we got word today that there's no more physical school for the rest of the year. And I think what weighs on me too with that is this unknown of whether there will be school in August when we expect there to be school. Because for me, in my mind, there's definitely a chance that could not happen. We don't have any.
You know what this kind of reminds me of? Can you hear that? Yeah, Into the Unknown from Frozen, definitely. And I was talking actually with
Mike is gonna sing that song this summer.
It would be great. I was
Gospel Goes to Broadway sermon series.
I was talking with one of the pastors up in Ohio that I worked with, and like once that movie came out, once we went and saw that movie, everybody was like, "Oh, Into the Unknown, that's a great one for a sermon, like a sermon idea." And the one that you did, but the one that stuck out to me from that is Do the Next Right Thing. Like,
it's a good one too. It is a good one too.
I think that one, to me, that one spoke to me a lot more. It was just sort of like, great, I don't know what's coming up. The person that, we're supposed to be there with, like, just completely disappeared. We have to get up and do this for ourselves. And like, to me, that's,
that would preach this week too. I'm just saying, had I thought about that, that would preach this week too. But
good. Scrap the service. We'll just come up with a new service.
Okay. So let me digress just for a second. Leave this whole Corona thing behind. For like a year and a half, I've been planning this Gospel Goes to Broadway sermon series. I had the most commented post I've ever made in Facebook was, what is your favorite Broadway show tune, which is what actually started all this. That was my research for this project. No, Rocky Horror Picture Show did not make it in. I did try very hard. But then we saw Frozen 2, and I was like, this is a great one to have a kid-friendly one. And I agree. Next Right Thing is brilliant. It's brilliant. I could preach it 10 Sundays in a row, probably. But for me, it was more about the music. The music and Into the Unknown is better. And you know me, I like the Panic at the Disco version.
Oh yeah, you do.
So good.
Well, I
It's so
remember
good.
you were like, Mike, you should learn how to sing this. And I was like, I don't sing like that at all.
Okay, well, maybe I'll write the lead singer of Panic at the Disco, who has a name that I can't remember. Brendan. He sings a lot with Taylor Swift. I know her name. Anyway, so yeah, do the Next Right Thing into the net. Oh, dude, that would totally preach, Mike. Now I'm gonna have to go re-record stuff. Yeah, so I get it. We don't have any big life moments too. So I haven't been mourning graduation or prom or kindergarten graduation or transitions because we don't have any big things on our table this year. And I don't know what I would do if we did. I saw some posts, people commenting on like some of my TCU professors and stuff like that. Do I send my kid to college next year? Do I not send my kid to college? What do we, what's the transition? What all is happening? So many universities have actually already said that they're not going back in the fall either. They're going to continue online course learning, which is not bad. It's just different. And it's got me in this place of sometimes fear, like, is it going to stay like this forever?
Yeah. I've had that thought too, like, how is this going to like just radically change how we think of things and things that we deem important and things that we deem essential. Like there was something that it was talking about at-home internet access, and it's like, these states want these kids to be able to, have internet access. So now it's sort of proving that in this day and age, internet access is going to start being considered more and more essential for students to have at their homes. And then how do we address that, especially if, let's say it's a rural student who is going to go to, a college in the city who doesn't necessarily have, full access to internet, but they're supposed to be starting college at one of the schools that's going to be completely online. It's
quality devices get online. I was on a small conference call with our state representative, Lizzie Fletcher, this week. And she's Harris County, District 7, which is where our church sits, just barely, but is where our church sits. And that is one of the things that we talked about. How are we getting access to the kids who specifically are looking for access? How are we, it was a number of things. Really, the point of that was, how are we meeting the needs of our community? And then what are those needs and how have they changed? Because they have changed completely. And there are gaping holes.
yeah.
And I think there may be even not from her, not from the state. I'm just saying in general population, there may be some reluctancy to plan for that because we don't know what's coming. I've seen all the posts this week about opening things up again and doing stuff. And I've seen angry posts about like, let's not do that. And super excited posts about, well, we should have never quarantined anyway. Let's do it. And I think this is just the week where everything has caught up. It's the week where we need maybe the most amount of hope at this up until now. It's the week where we need to know and have some assurance that not that things are going to go back to the way they were, because that is never happening.
Yeah,
and I feel like we have to keep saying that to ourselves. But this hope that something will happen in the future. I'm like, gosh, we're gonna be wearing masks forever, Mike.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, and there are some things I was talking with my aunt about this, and there are like certain things that are like the shopping time for like elderly people or people who are more at risk for things, and it's like an hour once a week. those are things that I'm just like, well, that's not necessarily a bad idea to just have in general. Like, or, you know, some of the other things. I mean, the biggest thing is like, why do we still have to tell people to wash their hands? I mean, hopefully that's going to change and people are going to start washing their hands. I mean, it's not really changing right now, but hopefully it'll click. And, you know, there's a few other things like the connectedness that we've been talking about, like the forced connection, that you have to be intentional about making those connections. Hopefully some of those things are going to stay around. But I don't know. It'll definitely look different after this is all done.
All I have to say is, no, I don't even think I want to say it live on Facebook. I don't think I want to say it anytime it can be used against me in the future. But to put it in frame of reference, I am super thankful for the people who teach my children and the people who accept that as their call, or not accept that. I don't mean that negatively, but like who are called to do that. Like I truly believe we are all called to do something, and it runs the gamut because it's based on passions and giftedness. And so people who are legitimately called to be teachers because they are gifted in that way, boy, do I give thanks for them, because I do not, and it takes so many people. It's not just one teacher. It is like every teacher over the course of my children's life that is so important to making them who they are, because I guarantee there's a big chance that I will screw them up if it is only me. And I do apologize now for the math skills that I have taught my son, whomever gets him next year in 3rd grade, because I've taught him how to do math correctly. Oh, I'm sorry, simply. I mean, not the way you've taught, sorry. I'm not like, Zane has been trying to teach me. I'm like, every time he comes up with a question, I'm like, show me how they tell you to do this in school, because I was working with him on multiplication. He just looked at me and he was like, what? He's like, that, what? And I was like, oh my gosh, that's not how they taught you. What did they do?
Yeah,
so anyway,
Common Core. Yeah. I had one of the, when I was teaching in HISD, I had one of the middle school math teachers explain some of like the new Common Cores. Like when I was growing up, we learned PEDMAS, like, you know, parentheses, exponents, you know, all that. And she told me, she's like, yeah, we don't teach that anymore, because then people will literally do division and then multiplication, except it's supposed to be multiplication or division, whichever one happens first in the sequence. And she said that some of the kids started learning, okay, parentheses, exponents, division, multiplication, addition, and then subtraction, and not pay attention to the order. And I was just like, yeah, I guess that kind of makes sense. But then there go all the songs that we learned, and that we learned, I mean, that I learned or made up for high school math. Or
speaking of songs that we learned, we watched Ellen's Game of Games. Shout out to Ellen, hashtag Ellen, whatever. Ellen, First Christian Church Katie, come check us out. Okay, but on a whole other note, we watched Ellen's Game of Games, and they do this thing where you have to like predict how many items your partner can say or whatever. And I swear this has a point relative to what you just said. And it's like, how many Diet sodas can you name? Or what are the top 10 flavors of ice cream? And this one was like, capitals in South America. And, you know, they were like, and I was like, I know them all, because I learned this song in Spanish, in 9th grade Spanish. Yeah. More than 30 years ago, I feel like. Not quite that long ago, but a very long time ago. And I sing it all the time. It is like the one kitschy song that has stuck in my head. And I'm like, damn it, I know them all. I could win $100,000.
You'll appreciate this. So you know how German has all of the different like prepositions that take the different cases, and you have to remember which ones take which ones?
Yeah.
So there was a song that I learned in college for all the dative ones. Aus bei mit Zeit nach von zu gegenüber out mit dem Dativ. Always. And that's always, and I'll just be like randomly humming, and I'm just like, why am I singing German songs in my head? Or there's one for like all the different.
Put it to music, you remember it.
And there's one for all the different noun endings that's literally just the noun endings, and it's absolute nonsense unless you know what it is. But yeah, and that's why, music is so important in education and in our schools.
Yes, do not take for music and the arts away from public schools.
Yes.
We're also here. It is very important.
Yes.
Very important. So, it
And
has been.
I saw something else that said, if you want to take art out of schools, you have to spend the rest of your Corona quarantine without Netflix, without music, without books, without like TV, without art, and see how well you do. And it was like, yeah, I mean, people don't realize, like, even when you're just watching like a commercial, something that gets stuck in your head, somebody studied for years to be able to make that. Or like,
Right. You're an artist, right?
yeah.
Hey, Chrissy. I, however, am also not an artist.
You are. Have you seen your table decorations, your tablescapes?
But that's, I don't know. I can't like paint or draw. My children can't paint or draw consequently either. Like, I've also discovered that the whole house needs singing lessons. So,
Okay, we'll work on it.
maybe you could pre-package those, like singing lessons via Zoom for your house. Did you watch? So you probably didn't because you don't have children, but Disney did a Disney sing-along last night.
Yeah, I heard about it.
Oh my gosh, I still have it recorded. I can turn it on for you in a minute and let you watch it. But Kristen Chenoweth came on and like warmed everybody up. And I was like, okay, well, first off, most of the people who are watching this don't need to be warmed up because that doesn't make any difference. And second of all, who can live up to Kristen Chenoweth's warming up? Like, she's like, la, 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 la. And I'm like, whatever. Kristen Chenoweth, I love you too. Just in case for some reason this makes it out anywhere. I do love you, but
could you imagine if she came out for our like Gospel Goes to Broadway songs?
We are doing a song from Wicked. I cannot remember which one I picked. So just in case this makes it out, Idina Menzel, Kristen Chenoweth, gladly. I will, if we're still in quarantine, social separation, physical separations, distancing, we'll gladly Zoom call you in to our worship service to sing. It was either, you know what, I have my notes right here and I'm just gonna look it up. Anyway, I am super excited. I was thinking today, actually, like, are people done with hearing about and talking about coronavirus? Like, do we need something different? Do we need something to distract ourselves? Do we need something to take our time off of it? I watched a lot of Easter services last week, and there was one that only talked about the coronavirus, and I was like, I want to hear about Jesus. Like, not that I don't want to hear about Jesus every week, but especially today, I want to hear about Jesus and resurrection and being raised from the dead and being alive and life and all of that. I want to hear about Jesus. And so I was a little distraught about that. And it's also been tainting my mind. Like, is that what we want to hear about? Is that what we want to talk about? Are we over it? Because I also thought maybe I shouldn't do my Gospel Goes to Broadway this summer if we're in quarantine.
Well, I mean, I feel like that would be a good, like, it's kind of like Andrew Lloyd Webber has the shows must go on thing that's on YouTube where every Friday for like 48 hours. I think even doing something like that is enough to sort of like, I don't want to say break it up, but kind of break it up so that we're not just stuck focusing on it. And I do, like, I mean, I don't know. I think that it's good to have something else that we can think about and do and focus on.
I mean, obviously, it is a big part of our lives right now. Like,
yeah.
It's not like we can't think about it or forget that, like, this isn't happening in person because Mike and I can't be together. I mean, I guess we could be together 6 feet apart, but the sound wouldn't be as good. No, I mean, it's not like you can forget about it, but it's great to have just moments of, like this morning. I mean, I am strict when it comes to some things. Like, jumping off my furniture or the countertops or other things that seem stupid or silly, because that's not a nice word to say, but we also have a schedule. We have a daily schedule, and it's not that it is rigid. Like, there is flexibility in our daily schedule. I don't think we have ever done what's on the daily schedule completely from start to finish. It is just something to help give us an idea of how the day goes on. But this morning, like, Zane slept in really late and Keegan was watching TV, and they got up and they started to like build this whole train city and do stuff. And they played together for like an hour. And I was just like, we're not doing school. I'm not interrupting that, because we need places and pockets of, I mean, celebration. That's all I can think. Like, joy. That's what it is. We need places and pockets of joy where we are fulfilled and not consumed or overwhelmed by whatever it may be. I mean, if you are a small business, if you are a business owner, period, right now, if you're in charge of a nonprofit, if you are overseeing anything like that, like, you have the weight of all of that and your employees all on top of you. And then if you have a family at home that you're trying to teach school, or you have a job that you're trying to keep up with, who's thinks that you can do as much, if not more work, because the demands are even greater right now, while you have a whole family pulling at your, the hem of your, there's just so much right now, and it is ridiculous. And I hope this helps us adjust perspective and expectations.
I know one of my friends from Ohio, when I was speaking with her earlier today, she said that even though she's working from home, she feels like she's working more than she was when she was in the office, because there's sort of, I guess, a difficult time. Well, she also works in the medical field, but there's more of a difficult time finding the balance, because when you're home, it's like, oh, okay, well, 15 more minutes. So 15 more minutes, because it's 5 o'clock, I'm leaving, I'm going home. It's like, I can sit here for, 15 more minutes.
Well, and things that you might regularly be able to communicate, like in passing or via an email, or I don't know, like, it feels like there has to be more Zoom calls. Like, we are like, oh, y'all, I'm zoomed out. I had a day this week, and I got up and I was like, I don't have any conference calls today. This is amazing. It is amazing. And I mean, don't get me wrong. I get dressed every day because I do not like to be in pajamas. It does not feel good to me. I don't know. That's just me. I get dressed every day because I might not put makeup on every day, but I get dressed every day. Like, if I don't have jeans on, I'm on a downhill slope to dying. So anyway, yeah. Hey, Melissa.
So kind of with that, Heather, like, I mean, you know that I like being dressed up. Like, I'm always dressed up for stuff.
No, you're more dressed up than I am, and I'm dressed up today.
I know, like, well, I always dress up. And like, I would get home from work and I would keep my work clothes on until, right before I go to bed. And people, my friend Corey, when he would come over, he'd be like, why are you still in your work clothes? And I'm just like, because I'm comfortable. Like, this is how I'm comfortable. So the other day, and you know that I love socks.
Sorry, somebody said something funny.
I was going to put on a pair of socks, like, long, normal dress socks. And I got them out, I unfolded them, and I looked and I was just like, there's something wrong with me, because I don't even want to go through putting these socks on.
Oh.
I was just like, socks are like apart from my penguin onesie that I have, next pajama day at church, I'll wear my penguin onesie. I was like, socks are like my favorite thing. Socks are like my go-to. And like, I always have, I even have like my long pair of like shark socks on right now. Like,
can you show them to us? Is that possible? Yes! Yay!
Like, I was just like, I didn't want to put on a pair of socks. And I was just like, what is this virus doing to me? Like, that was my thought. Like, I sat on the floor for like 2 minutes just thinking, this is it. Like, this is the end. Like, I'm ready. Like, take me now, I guess, because I don't want to put my socks on.
For the record, I will make sure you have fancy socks on when you die. I mean,
thank you.
I'm way older than you, so I'm probably going to die before you. But
whoever is listening, you can take my socks, cut them up, and just make me like a garment out of all my different socks. Or
And
like
a
a
face
quilt. Ooh, that'd be kind of fun. Kind of gross, but kind of fun.
Do you still have any new socks? I might have some new socks around.
I have a lot of socks.
Yeah, I know. I believe it. So Peggy, when I said something about Zoom calling, Peggy said you should try Zoom calling with 16 4 to 5-year-olds.
No, I'm good.
I can't even. Oh, yeah. I feel like the fact that my house is not a complete and utter disaster. I know you guys see things behind me like this random microphone stand, because my house has now become 2 home offices, 2 classrooms, our house. What else? Oh, a full-on production studio, because, well, let's face it, apparently you need all this equipment to go live on Facebook and do Zoom and everything. I have my phone, my tablet, my computer right now just even to make this happen. So the fact that like my house is not complete disarray is great, but I also feel like I have these expectations that I'm not living up to. Like I just have a little bit more painting to do in our front bathroom, and every morning I think this is the day I'm going to get it done, and then I don't. It's not even like I don't just get it done. Like I don't even think about it again after that point of like getting up in the morning and doing that, and it's very frustrating for me. Like that. I think I saw a meme that was like, uh, I kept saying I didn't have time to clean my house, and then I got stuck at home and I still couldn't clean. And I was like, but the thing is, I still don't have time. Like, I may physically be in my house, but I still don't have the time to do all the stuff that I want to get done. So I'm still cooking in a crock pot or Instapot or microwave, like it's not like I'm making gourmet meals over here. All of you people who are, I see people on Facebook and I'm like, you are just better at life than I am, because you are teaching your students in your classroom and your kids, and they are learning things, and you're doing like full on PE with them. And I'm like, run around the house a couple times. I don't know. Anyway.
Tire yourself out. You'll be fine.
Yeah.
Well, you know how one of your favorite hymns is "This is the day, this is the day that the Lord has made." I know how much you love that one. So
okay.
I can just come over one morning and from a social safe distance, just stand outside of your house and say, "This is the day that you'll paint that room," until you paint it. I'll just come by every day and just sing it as loud as possible.
That would be great, especially if you would add like "Shine, Jesus, Shine," and "Lord, I lift your name on high" into those mixes and change lyrics. That would be great.
I will do my best.
Yes. So Peggy, you have to get one of these. I'm going to blind you guys. Let's see. Can you guys see this? The ring light.
Oh, it looks like a halo.
I would, I have a smaller one, but I'd have to get up to go and get it because it's really far away right now. But I swear they make a difference. This one is not doing its job tonight, Peggy, but let's see. Peggy said that one of the kids said something to her about mascara and eye makeup. But see, look, no light. And every light in my house is on right now too. So that's what I said. Like your house has to become a full-on production studio. Those are like $15 on Facebook. I mean, no, not Facebook.
Amazon.
The other one that I'm on all the time. Yeah.
I
did exciting Amazon purchases this week that I'm super looking forward to getting. So
I'm just using a little craft light.
Oh, but see, it's working. I like it.
Yeah.
You have to play around with it because you can wash yourself out too. But
yeah, especially remember that first Sunday that we had the live stream and I looked like a straight up vampire behind the piano. Yeah. It was good. It was like Edward Cullen was leading our worship songs that day. It was great.
Oh, so exciting. I'm all like, I'm ready for something new and exciting to happen. So if you know what that is, let us know. I feel like we didn't ask, we actually had no makeup on. Oh, I missed that. They said that Miss Peggy had sleepy eyes, and she said, I don't have any mascara on. And the kids had never seen her without mascara on. So this is what I feel like. So like I have eye makeup on. I don't wear makeup. Like it's not even like I could go to my bathroom and put it on. I have mascara and eyeshadow. That is all I own. And I probably have lipstick somewhere because my daughter does dance recitals, but I'm not going to wear it. So I'm just not a makeup person. So you're going to get what you get. So that's what I'm going with. Although I will tell you, watching yourself on video so much, it's just irritating. I'm like, oh, I hate the way my hair looks. Or like, one day I had my hair pulled funny at church and I was like, it just looks like I'm completely bald on this side of my head. And so that's all I could see. And I'm sure probably most of the other people who were watching didn't see that, or like, oh, that shirt, or oh, those pants, or oh my gosh, you could see my shoes. One day I left the house. The kids and I drive around every single day. Okay. We get out of the house and we drive around. Keegan says today, Mom, all we do is drive around. We don't get out anywhere. But so we do. We drive around. I had different shoes on. I had the same shoe, but different colored shoes on when I left the house. Like, oh, coronavirus. Killing me over here.
Mm-hmm.
Killing me. Anyway. Well, I know we didn't get to any of our fun questions tonight. Should we do like a...
Yeah, let's ask a couple, just like one or two.
Do you have one in mind, or you just want me to get mine?
Oh, you can. I don't have any of them.
You haven't thought of any?
No.
You
Kyle. I don't know if my seminary colleague Kyle is still watching. Oh, he said that this goes back to us doing the Frozen thing. He said I should do it and I should sing Into the Unknown or whatever, whichever one.
See, I love you, Kyle. Thank you.
Yeah, Kyle is in my Hebrew class, and he's been in a number of my other classes. And he's also an organist. So I told him that I would do it if he came up and played.
Ah.
See.
All right. Peggy, I hope you're still out there. This one is for you. Would you rather have caterpillar legs or octopus legs?
What kind of a question is that?
It's right here on my question sheet.
Yeah, no, I completely believe it's on your question sheet. It's just like, what? I
think I'd rather have caterpillar. Well, I don't know. Do I want to swim or not swim? Maybe that's the question. I see the benefit in caterpillar legs because they hold you up like on land. Obviously, octopus legs work in the water.
If I had octopus legs, though, I could just play Ursula anytime, which would also be very fun.
You could shoot through the water. Peggy, why do you want octopus legs? All right. While I wait for Peggy.
That was a quality question.
If you could have any vehicle, what would you have?
Any vehicle? Probably one that is like, I don't know, I feel like Get Smart, like, the TV show that was like way before my time, where probably the one that, I think he had one. No, James Bond had one in, which one was it? I think it was actually, it's funny that the question was octopus because it was in the movie Octopussy. Where he had the car that was like the airplane that could then fold up like into like a car, or like the wings could fold. Oh wait, no, that was just an airplane. I don't know. I can go on the water, drive, and fly.
I'd like to have a Tesla. So just in case this video gets...
Elon Musk, in case you're watching. Doesn't he own Tesla?
Who?
Elon Musk.
Hey, JR, who owns Tesla? Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Sure. I didn't want to say yes if I was wrong, but I don't need like SpaceX stuff. I don't need to go to space. You just hook me up with the crossover vehicle kind of looking Tesla in black. That's what I would like.
But like, okay, so my sister Amanda had a Honda CRV, like not one of the newer ones, like one of the older
Honda
ones.
CR-V to a Tesla.
No, I'm just saying I always liked driving it. I've never driven a Tesla.
I've never driven a Tesla, but I know that I would like it. Also, if they could put solar panels on my house when they bring me the Tesla, that would be perfect. Oh, Peggy says a Jeep.
Oh, yeah.
Feel free to answer any of these questions. Okay, if you could be invisible for one day, what would you do? Did you hear that?
The bad thing was that's what went through my mind too, right when he said it.
Yeah, they can hear it.
We could hear it, JR.
My bad. Sort of.
I could be invisible.
Oh gosh.
I don't even know what I would
I don't
do.
even know. I know, but I don't even know. Oh, what famous musician would you like to meet?
Myself? No, I'm kidding. See, that's a really difficult one. Do they have to be alive or can they be dead?
It doesn't specify. So
Well, if you're, oh, never mind. They're good.
any of them.
If they're invisible, they gotta be alive.
Ooh, probably Bach or Handel. Or Dolly Parton. Let's be honest, Dolly Parton. I might just want to meet Dolly Parton.
I mean, I'm sorry. I would totally like to meet Adam Levine. So again, this is our like promo one, right? If you're listening, great church, come visit us, FCC Katie. I would also love to meet you. Additionally, Lady Gaga could come and preach probably like anytime.
Dolly Parton, if you come, we will change one of our Broadway songs to 9 to 5 or Best Little Whorehouse in Texas. We will change something just so you can come and sing. Heather's saying no, but I'll do the music for that.
Sing, but we're not changing. I've worked very hard. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know. I'll go listen, see if any of those preach out. Peggy said George Strait. Ooh. I'm going to save that one for next time. If you were invited to a costume party, what would you be? One time in college, I went to a costume party as J-Lo. I don't know why. I think it was because I don't know. She must have been popular then.
Let me see. See, I mean, my problem is like I get all of these like really fun ideas. Like today, I was watching the Phantom of the Opera like show on, or the Phantom of the Opera thing that Andrew Lloyd Webber was doing with he's playing it for like 48 hours, and I was like, oh my gosh, I could dress Chloe up as Christine Dye and I could be the Phantom. And then I just like I have all of these other things that run through my head. It's ridiculous. And every few moments, I'm just like, oh, that'd be a great Halloween costume idea. And I'll tell like Corey or my friend Anthony or even Stuart, and they're just like, yeah, like you have a lot of ideas for Halloween costumes. And do I ever do any of them? No.
Maybe we'll throw a Halloween. Oh wait, we do throw a Halloween party, trunk or treat.
Yeah.
You just have to be appropriate. All right. Would you rather give up chocolate or bacon?
Bacon.
Chocolate.
I'm not really a huge fan of either one of them though.
So this morning I watched the whole video. I don't even know why it was in my Facebook feed. I have obviously commented on too many vegan posts, but this woman who made carrot bacon.
Oh, I saw that. Yeah.
Okay, well then it was a popular post this morning. And then it was like the crunch test or whatever, and it was not crunchy at all. First off, second off, there is no faking bacon. As I was a vegetarian for a decade.
I didn't know that.
And I do love bacon. Now, there's just no faking bacon. Like maybe dog bacon strips pass to them as bacon, but bacon is just bacon. I feel like there's no substitute. And having said that, I literally cannot think of another food that there is not a vegan substitute for. but I don't know. I can't think of anyway, bacon, chocolate, out the door. Who likes chocolate anyway? I'm sure all of you are. Yeah, everybody else says bacon, but let me tell you. Oh, bacon makes everything better. If you could be any animal, real or fictional, what would you be?
Penguin.
Okay, what would you be next? Hey, Mary. Hey, Christina.
Probably some type of bird.
I mean,
that's not a penguin because penguins are birds, but I'd be a flamingo. Because a group of flamingos is called a flamboyance.
You're killing me. Peggy would be a koala. That would be a good one to be.
A flamingo?
No, a koala.
Oh.
I mean, I think I would just be a dog. As long as I had good owners, I think I would just be a dog. If there was one thing you could learn how to cook, like from a chef who really knew how to do it, what would it be?
See, this one's difficult because I grew up with my father who was a chef for a number of years.
Oh, that's right.
And so if I would ask him to help me make something, he would. Honestly, it would probably be some type of pastry from a pastry chef. Like I've always wanted to make I have made croissants, but I've always wanted to get like really good at making croissants because I like croissants. So it'd probably be like having like a master class with somebody on making croissants.
I was thinking like bread or something. And I can't specify the type of bread right now in my head. Maybe just like all types of bread, like the difference in ciabatta and X, Y, and Z and X, Y, and Z and what makes them different. Because I feel like if you have that knowledge of like leavened and unleavened and rising and, like you could do so much with that. So
I would like to, your bread thing, would like to make like a loaf of bread that's kind of like as fluffy as you get in the store, because I feel like my homemade breads are always like a lot denser than like what you buy in the store.
They are. Mine are too.
Yeah.
Okay. If you had to wear one thing for the rest of your life, what would it be?
Like one thing continually one day, or like only one article of clothing?
Thing every day.
Probably one of my cardigans, which I basically wear almost every day anyway.
Yeah.
It'll be the middle of summer and I'll still show up to church and I'll have a cardigan on.
You will. But then you won't complain when I turn the air conditioning on.
Because I have a cardigan on and it's a cardi party.
Meanwhile, I'll be wearing jeans.
And probably sweating while I'm sitting over there at the piano.
I'm telling you, it's preacher sweat. Like you get up there, your blood is going. Do not underestimate how hot those lights are that shine on you. I mean, I know that, well, you're a little bit whatever. They're hot. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Who was the best teacher you ever had? None of your teachers are on tonight, right?
Mr. Wangaman. He was my high school choir director. And Mrs. Hamilton, actually. She was my high school piano teacher. She was on
last week, right?
Yeah, last week. Pretty much all of my music teachers, they're basically like the reason that I'm here doing this. But yeah, Mr. Wangaman, definitely.
I had a lot of great teachers. Miss Fessler was like my 6th grade social studies teacher, and she ranks up there pretty high for me. But I would say Jim Atwood from TCU. And it's hard because like so many of my college professors are.
Oh, I thought we were talking only about high school.
What was the best teacher you've ever had?
Oh.
Pretty much every teacher in the religion department at TCU, and most of my teachers from Bright are, they just rank up there with me. So, and I mean, if we're being like philosophical, John Butler, who wasn't a teacher at all, is probably the person I've learned the most from in my life.
I guess I would have to say Carl Schrock then.
Oh, Carl.
Yeah, I was actually just on the phone with him earlier today. I was like, so when are you coming down next? So
10 years? No, I'm just kidding.
No,
Whenever. did.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, yeah, him and Mr. Wangerman, they've done like the most, like, yeah, for my entire life. They should meet. I don't think they've met yet.
I'm trying not to be too serious.
And Lisa Davidson, if you're watching this one on my Ruth exegesis paper, you're like my best teacher. Definitely give me some good extra credit points.
I'm telling you.
Kyle, if you're still watching, let her know I gave her a shout out on this.
If you could be on a game show, what would you be on?
Probably because I know so much random crap about random crap, Jeopardy.
Man, Jeopardy is hard.
I know.
I've always loved The Price is Right. Like, that would be my show.
Or Wheel of Fortune.
Oh, Wheel of Fortune would be up there too. I love Drew Carey. I haven't watched Price is Right in a very long time. So I know he's the host now, but I don't think I've watched it since he's been hosting, but which has probably been a long time. But I would want Bob Barker. Sorry. Sorry.
I'd like to change my answer. I'd like to say Legends of the Hidden Temple. The Nickelodeon game show. Yeah, the Nickelodeon game show.
Okay.
From like forever ago.
What? These are obviously geared towards kids. There's a bunch I haven't asked yet, but this one's like,
Wonderful.
you had $100, what would you buy? And I'm like, $100 doesn't buy you anything. What is one thing you learned today? This is a good one.
Okay, you go first.
Wait, I just asked the question. You have to go.
Fine. So, this is going to be a little philosophical because I was doing some shower thinking today. When I was taking a shower.
I just showered.
Yeah, thank you. I was thinking about my constructive theology course last semester when we were talking about the image of God and how that translates into how we think about Jesus and then how we think about like everything else, like theological mapping. And I think the thing that I learned is like, well, not necessarily learned, but fully thought through, that fully finally made things click. So I'm counting this as a match. That image of God is not like just physical image, it's emotional image, it's personal image, it's mental image of like how we love others, how we treat others, how like the compassion that we have for others. And like, it's not just like physical, it's like entirety.
All right, you win.
Thanks.
On that note, what's your favorite thing to do in the summertime? Go to the beach? Oh, you're super white. You don't like to go to the beach, do you? Do you burn easily?
I burn. I went outside for like a walk with Chloe the other day and I came back and Corey was like, you should have put on sunscreen. I was like, it's 5 o'clock in the afternoon. Like, I burned. One thing I like doing in the summer, probably practicing during all the time that I can't practice during the school year and like catching up on like reading and okay, keep rolling your eyes. That's fine. I don't know. Yeah.
Okay. If you guys have binge watched any good TV shows, now's your time to shout them out. We've also done that in like all of our Facebook lives, and then we have to go because it's late. But Zane and I have been binge watching The Good Place, which is doesn't have a lot of seasons, but it is also super good and took an unexpected turn for me.
I have been binge watching. Well, Corey and I usually binge watch like RuPaul's Drag Race together. And then I've also been binge watching The Golden Girls. Actually, it's paused on the TV right now because I paused it right before we got on.
I do love Golden Girls. I don't know how many times I've seen every episode, but boy, it's a good one. It comes on. When it comes on the TV, I'm like, ooh, Golden Girls. It's like the one show that really gets my attention.
Do you have Hulu?
No.
Oh, I was gonna say it's on Hulu.
We have lots of other ones. I can't think of their names, but it comes on Hallmark Channel.
Mm-hmm.
Like 10 o'clock. Okay, there we go.
Mm-hmm.
I'm all like, it comes on. Oh, Peggy says she loves The Good Place. Look, we are in season 3, so we're almost done. I think we have like 6 or 7 episodes left. Zane thinks it's hilarious. There's a couple episodes he hasn't watched, but it is definitely good. It's totally unlike what I thought it was. So I think we may delve into Lego Masters because the kids are like, ooh, it says Lego. So Randy says Manifest on Hulu. Have you watched that? If anybody says Tiger King, Greg Taylor. If anybody says Tiger King, and no, not watching Tiger King.
You're not missing anything.
Have you watched it?
Corey and I watched it, and we were just like,
all of it? Is it long?
It's like, it was 6 episodes, and then they added 2 more. But we were just like, yeah, we're not watching more of it. Have you seen the movie Joe Dirt?
No.
David Spade. All right.
I see David Spade in my head, but no, I haven't seen Joe Dirt. And
okay.
there is definitely some content stuff on this. Like everybody was like, oh,
Yeah.
Tiger King. And I went and watched the preview on Netflix and I was like,
it's
what?
Yeah, it was rough to get. It was actually kind of rough to watch because there's a lot of like animal mistreatment in it, and like just the way that they talked about each other.
Yes, thank you.
It was not
Peggy, I love Good Girls too, as in TOO, also not TWO. It's on ABC right now. I want to get into like some of the newer Star Trek ones, like Picard or whatever the new Star Trek is.
Yeah,
but
Picard.
I haven't done that yet. Part of it is I just don't have very much time to watch TV. And when I do watch TV, it's usually like an hour when my kids are awake. And so it has to be a kid-friendly show. And I can only take so much JoJo's Leah. I'm not even going to end that with anything else. I'm just going to say that. I'm all like, she has lots of fun colors in her life. Is that okay? I'm like, yeah. Anyway, well, I feel like it's super late. It is way past my bedtime. So thank you, everyone who came on. I always remind everyone that we do Tuesday morning coffee hour. I know some of you can't be on that. It is not like this. We do talk, we do chat. We has a more serious note, right? It's a time of prayer. Ooh, little fires everywhere. I'll check that out, Randy. And then we also have a Monday night fellowship hour, which is on Zoom. So if you would like that, I'll post about it. You can comment and we'll send you the link. But it's a time to get to see everybody face to face. We know that this is just Mike and I sitting up here chatting or asking questions a lot, but it's fun. We love interacting and we love seeing you guys, even though it's just on the Facebook feed. But Monday night, Zoom all together. And then, of course, Sunday morning worship. I promise this week is going to be a really great week. I'm really looking forward to this week's worship. It is post-Easter time. It's an exciting time as we head towards Pentecost and get ready for summertime, which will bring us to Gospel on Broadway, which I'm really excited about. So I feel like I'm heading into exciting times at church. Woohoo, finally. No, I'm just kidding.
I'm looking forward to Advent already.
Like,
you know that I love Advent and Lent. Those are like my 2 favorite church seasons.
Oh no, I mean, I'm with you, but I'm just going to take this a little bit by little bit. So I'm going to look into this greeting card parade that Peggy talked about and get to virtual birthday planning. We're having a virtual tea party for Keegan. So if anybody's dying to join a virtual tea party in May, I can also hook you up with that. I know, Mike, you have to get dressed up and wear a fancy hat and drink out of fancy teacups.
Okay. I don't think I have a fancy hat, but I'll make one.
You could make one.
I could. It'll be like a RuPaul's Drag Race challenge. I'll go get a hot glue gun. Yes. It'll be great.
Okay. On that night, good night, everyone. We look forward to seeing you next week. and have a wonderful weekend. See you in worship on Sunday.